They've just said they can't hear you, bro. I don't know if you maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to A Life of an Amateur. A brand new week. We'll go through it all again. Oh, God, you'd love to see it. Guys, welcome to a brand new week of the Life of an Amateur podcast. This week we have Big Boy Bake joining us, or Joshua Baker, as you guys may know him. But before we get into it, we will talk about underlying issues we are currently having. So as it stands, the camera right now, the cameras are messing up. Discord, I believe, is just faulting because of how many people are using the internet due to lockdown, etc. And if you are in lockdown, don't go outside because we're all on our summer. Quick message for you all. But apart from that, I'll tell you what the Life of an Amateur is all about. So, Life of an Amateur, we are following the lives of amateurs in our scene, around our scene as well. And it's more to do so with their lives and how they got into what they're doing, and not so much of what it is they do. But it's all a bit of both. But, as we said, this week joining us, it is Big Boy Bake. Man, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. Thank you. How are you?
Bro, I'm good, apart from the good old mic mute and, this Discord doing my head in. But
nice, man.
We get through it.
I could probably be worse considering everyone in the world's going fucking crazy. I mean, I'm alright.
Yeah.
I'm calm.
Literally.
Yeah,
everybody's going crazy. Like the amount of fights that are happening at Asda and Tesco and stuff.
I know, bro.
It's
madness.
It's literally mental. I think it was just yesterday as well. I was driving to the shop and there was about just a group of 10 kids sitting in a park, and I'm just like, it's just fantastic, ain't it?
Yeah, sick. Brilliant.
That's the things we love to see. But about you, so for the people that don't know who you are, obviously I'm pretty sure everybody know who you are, but who is it and what is it you do?
So I'm Josh, man. I'm 25. I've been gaming for probably 18 years. Yes, probably since I was about 7 years old. I've always played CODs, and then this year, well, toward the end of last year, I started a podcast. The reason I did was because I just thought there was a gap in the market. In the sense of amateur COD, there's so much news around, COD and the pro scene and anything that happens, and people get the business straight away, but we never get to look into the life of people that are in our scene and the amateur side. And that was the plan initially, was just to speak to amateur players and speak to, maybe some top hams and here and there, and speak to some CEOs of organizations and just try and get an insight into what it was like to do what they do and to play the way they play, etc., and what's put them on the journey. And then went to London, and everything's just seemed to have skyrocketed from there. Because at London, I don't know what happened, but I think it was a weekend where I just networked very well. And got speaking to Hex, got speaking to a few people, speaking to Mad Cat, etc. And then, I'm here now. It's just a spiral of events that have just happened quick. But, I mean, in day-to-day life, bro, I'm a night manager for Morrison's. I like gaming. I play when I can, which isn't too often at the moment. I mean, actually, this week it's a lot. It's a lot this week because I'm not at work. So at the minute, it's a lot. But usually I'm working 5 nights a week, kind of 12-hour shifts. So I fit in gaming as and where I can. But yeah, gaming. That's what I do now. I suppose this podcast has popped off way beyond what I expected it to in a shorter time period than I planned for it to. I've tried to put a grow plan into place, but we'll speak about that a bit later on, man. I'll explain it to you. But yeah, that's a little bit about me, man. I'm Josh, 25. I like gaming, and this has all happened way too fast.
What's the other thing you like? The thing on your top?
Gym, bro. Gym. Do you know what? It's mad, Jay, because a lot of people think I've been doing it for years and years, man. I haven't. I've been training heavily for strength for just over 3 years now. And Originally, I started the gym just to lose weight because I had a lot of fat on me, man. I was like 24 stone, just 23 and a half, something like that. And it was all fat. And I was desperate to lose weight for it. And I was going gym. I was doing fasted cardio. I was doing walks in the morning. I was getting up 6 o'clock, and I would go gym before work, and I'd walk uphill on a treadmill for like 45 minutes. And I was losing weight really well. And my younger brother was into bodybuilding. He was for about 3 or 4 years, and he was in great shape, man. And before I knew it, like he had me on the weights. And the first day I ever did bench press, I did a 120 kilo bench press, like first ever time doing bench. And my brother was like, "Yo, bro, you're like weird strong." And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, because obviously I didn't really know, I couldn't really grasp what strength was at the time because I was just going there to lose weight. And he was like, "Seriously, that's weird strength." And then that was it, bro. I spent like 6 months trying to like learn strength training and doing a bit of strength routines and doing this and that. And then after about 6 months of training, bro, I was doing my first strongman comp. Yeah, literally 6 months in, I was doing my first strongman competition. I did Samwell Strongest, which is a local comp, and I came fourth. But considering I'd never even all the training that I thought I was doing for the competition wasn't even correct, so I went into it pretty blind. Do you know what I mean? It was more I treated it as a fuck around, and I went into it and I did pretty well. And so from there, it's just developed into like just a passion. I can't explain it, man. I can't explain my passion for the gym. It's different to I would say I love my kids more than anything in the world. Yeah. My missus next, and then the gym is fourth. That's it. Like the gym, oh my fucking god! Like my passion for the place is so high, but the problem is right now, I can't do anything.
Nobody can.
And I literally can't do anything, and it's murdering me because, like, naturally, like my body produces a lot of testosterone because of the strength phasing that I do. And at the moment, I've got nowhere to output it other than to fucking wank furiously 12 times a day. Do you know what I mean? What am I supposed to do, man? What am I actually supposed to? It's killing me. But yeah, so to give you a bit of an insight, yeah, I've done strength for 3 years. I've done 4 strongman competitions now. I've won one, come second twice, and then come fourth. Done Wiggins, done Stafford, done Doncaster, and I've done Samwell. Technically, I've done 5. So I've done Samwell twice. But I won that, but I don't really count it as a win because there's only fucking 4 people there. But yeah. I was trying to set the British record this year because the British bench record for bench press is only 238 kilo in my weight range. Mm-hmm. And I can do more than that. But I'm currently dealing with 2 tendon tears on my left delt on my shoulder. And every time I let them heal for 4 weeks, I'll go and do something stupid and they go bad again. So, go bad again straight away. But yeah, man, gym is my escape river. That's the best I can put it to all you. If any of you like right now are just feeling depressed at home or struggling, I'm telling you, man, just get active in your house, run up and down the stairs 50 times. Like, just get active is the best advice I can give anyone.
Indeed. I think a lot of people seem to have the fact that they're staying indoors and lockdown, they can't do anything. There's a world of stuff that you can do still, but a lot of people don't have the knowledge to gain onto that one.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. But in terms of you and, of course, the Bakery Podcast, you have been causing waves in the scene, my friend, to say the very least. And, I told you in your DMs, I'll give you credit where credit is due. You've done amazing things in such a short period of time, so it's going to be great to see what you can do going further as well. But in terms of the Bakery Podcast, how did that stem? How did you find that? What was the process?
So, like in early Black Ops 4, me and a few of the boys were like talking about starting a podcast. And I don't know if anyone ever watched it yet, but you remember when Nadeshot did the Road to 100 No GB series on YouTube? He did it with Nadeshot, yeah. And he used to call it when him and Embos were running around. They used to go G-Strat, or G-Slide. Mm-hmm. So we were going to start a podcast where the 3 of us would come on and just basically chat shit for a couple hours, and have the odd guest here and there. We're going to call it the G-Strat Podcast, and then it never came to tuition. Nothing ever happened. And I was sitting there like toward December last year. I was just thinking, like, I'm into content creation, but my current work schedule wasn't giving me the ability to stream though I wanted to, and I couldn't set a good schedule. So I thought, what's something that I can do on the side where I can still be involved? I haven't got to produce at a ridiculous rate. And I thought a podcast. And I mean, I've had a passion for podcasts for 7-8 years. I've watched Rogan for 7-8 years. I've watched Sam Tripoli. I've listened to Tom Segura's. I've listened to podcasts for such a long time, so it's not like I'm unfamiliar with them. And so I just thought I'd take this step. I mean, obviously my surname's Baker, so the bakery was natural to me.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of a name that was the first thing that came to my head, and it stuck, so I went with it. And the plan at the time was just thinking to myself, do you know what? I'm just going to speak to people because there's so many personalities on Twitter and yet not enough people. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, I agree.
There's so many versions of people that you don't actually get to see. There's layers to everyone, and online you don't get to see who a person is. So I thought to myself that was the plan, was to try and like find that area of the market and go there. But for me, it was just more of a hobby. Like I wasn't expecting it to go anywhere. And like I said, I think my first episode was Jay Bino. Like me and Jay Bino just sat talking for like 2 hours and just talking shit, to be honest, like literally. And it did all right, man. It did pretty well. And then I had like Jack on, and then Atlee come on, the owner of Singularity. And like that was quite eye-opening. That was like my first guest where I was like, well, this is like fucking cool. Like I'm getting to see into a world that I'm not familiar with. And I'm getting to see a side of someone else's life. Like he's showing me, the offices that he works in, that he owns, and he's got all these people around him that are working under SMG, and he's got all these different offices and different rooms with all these gamers in. And I'm thinking, this is awesome. Do you know what I mean? And like that for me, that was like, I'm getting to see this, and without this, this platform I wouldn't be able to. And so I really enjoyed it. And then just after Atlee, London came around, and I mean, London was, like I said earlier, London for me was a big networking thing more than anything. I said that before I went there. I said it to a few people. I said, the ideal reason I'm going to London, the reason I'll pay the money to go there is because, sorry, Matt, I've just lost full reading what Duck's just put in the chat, for God's sake. The reason I went to London for me was because it was networking. I went to support TSU Esports, but for me, it was 50-50. 50% was supporting TSU and 50% was growing me as a person and a brand. And I wanted to get my name out there. And if you ask me personally, I think I know I've got the ability to entertain people. I know I have. I've just got to be motivated to do so. And so I wanted to give myself a reason to be motivated. And I found it in London. It's like I was sitting with a lad called Sam. Me, Sam, and Smithy were sat in the crowd. I'd met them on the day. And the camera pans to me behind Nameless, and out of nowhere, like the whole crowd's chanting "fuck off, Nameless." So I'm just stood there behind him, and like the whole arena starts laughing at me because I'm telling him to fuck off. And then the camera pans back to me again behind Nameless, and like for some reason I just stood up and like licked my fingers and rubbed my nipples like an idiot. But it got like 30,000 views in a day. Chino like retweeted it, sent it out, blah blah blah. And then day 2, I was sat in the crowd at the front with Sam, the same guys again. And Hex came out, and Hex sat at the front with us. And he sat with us for like an hour and a half, man, just talking. We FaceTime Nadeshot, like we FaceTime fucking TP. Tried to FaceTime as many people as he could, but a few didn't answer, obviously. But it was just like so sick. And I thought to myself, like, yo, I'm sitting next to a guy that I've watched for fucking 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've watched this guy for 10 years as a content creator. Like and to me, like I don't see anyone as inspiring as Hex in the whole scene in esports in general or in content creation. I think what he's done for Call of Duty as an esport and what he's done for organisations worldwide, he's put paths in place and roads in place for every organisation to follow. And so just sitting there with him for an hour and a half was surreal. Do you know what I mean? This is crazy. Like I should utilise this. I should make the most of this opportunity. And then we were talking shit. And he was chugging a beer, and he said, I think he said something like, "You're a big guy," and I was like, "Yeah, I do strongman comps." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, like pull trucks and stuff. And he was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And I was like, "Bro, I'm serious." And I showed him the video on my Twitter.
Yeah. And
he was like, "Fuck that! What's your Twitter? I'm going to follow you right now." So he followed me, and then we sat for a bit longer. He took all of our addresses and was like, "I'm going to send you all a merch package and etc. etc." And then. I got back from London, and I just thought, like this is something I can chase. Like clearly, I must have a level of entertainment because people, like all over that weekend, I had so much love on Twitter, and I was thinking, like, I have to utilize it. And Madcat tweeted out of nowhere, "Does anyone know who the big fucking brick house was that was in the crowd at London? Heard Huncho a chance." And then Madcat followed me on Twitter, and he DM'd me, and he was like, "Oh, bro, you were really you were making me laugh and that, blah blah blah." And then we got talking, and I did Madcat a training plan, and he's been keeping up with me ever since and letting me know how he's getting on, and he's banging his PRs out every week. But I asked him to come on the podcast, and he was like, "Yeah, man, no problem." So I had Madcat on, and that was for me. That was like shit. I'm actually sitting there talking to like, well, a professional player to me.
Yeah.
People say he's ex-pro. Once you've attained pro, to me, you're a pro regardless of whether you're an ex or not. A pro player, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm talking to a pro player. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to fucking, guys off the am scene. I'm thinking this is moving like fast. And then out of nowhere, I'm like, I've gone from Scraps, and then it was Madcat, and then I was like, I had a few of the guys from top am teams on. I had Steve Vortex on, that was cool. And then out of nowhere, it was Scraps. And Scraps came along, and Scraps followed me on Twitter, and I just DM'd him, mate, literally. Like I think people are really surprised. Like, I've had a lot of people saying to me, "Yo, how are you getting these people on, and how is it happening, and blah blah blah."
Shoot your shot,
mate. That's all I'm doing is shooting my shot. That's all I've done. I've done nothing special. I've done nothing like out of the ordinary. I've not got any crazy links with people that people might think I have. I am literally on Twitter and just sending DMs when I feel like I should. That's all I've done. Literally, there's no other way to put it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all I've done is sit there for, okay, do you know what? I want to speak to you because you're interesting. I'm not going to be shy and not ask you about it because I want to know what you do and how you've done it. So I'm going to go ahead and send you a message. And if you don't want to talk to me, you don't want to talk to me. Do you know what I mean? And so that's what I did. I messaged him. I messaged Scraps. Scraps responded to me, said, bro, no problem. I'm with you. He came on. Scraps did the podcast. That was sick. And then I had, Hex. Hex came out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? And the craziest thing is, like, can you remember, like, the one thing that surprised me most was, like, shooting my shot at Hex was probably the scariest part because it's Hex. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, naturally, you don't want to bite nothing like that. Do you know what I mean? Especially with Hex. Like, I didn't want to message him and go, "Yo, Hex, blah blah blah." But I messaged him. I said, the exact DM. You know what? I'll read it to you. I'm sure I've got it. I'll even DM to you now, just so I can be fucking factual with it.
Where you finding that? Guys, don't forget as well, in the chat, as we go through this, we will be taking questions from the chat, so feel free to put them in. Anything you want to know about Josh over here, obviously make it related, because I'm going to skip the stuff that isn't related, of course. So send in your related questions, and he'll be happy to answer them if he's in bounds to do so. But yeah.
So I DM'd him and I said, "Yo, Hector, this might be one of the biggest shoot your shot moments I've had, but I'm going to take it. I met you in London. You've been an inspiration of mine for 10 years, and I'm the host of a podcast called The Bakery, which is based around COD esports. So far, I've had Scraps, Madcat, and guests on alongside people like Atlee, who's the CEO of Singularity, and a few others. It's a dream to have you as a guest and to speak to you regarding your journey within esports. There's a lot to learn from you and many amateurs to inspire with your attitude and outlook. I hope you can find the time to respond. If not, keep killing it." Do you know what I mean? And his exact response was yes. He put one DM back, and it was just yes.
That's awesome, man.
You can't see it, man. Like, you can't see it there. But
what was your headspace in that moment?
Bro, so he responded to me at 2:20 in the morning, and I was at work. And I looked at my phone. I thought, fuck me, what's this? Clicked on it, and I was just like, I stood still for a sec. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, because I was expecting to get aired, or for him not to even read it. But he read it and went, yeah. And I'm just like, what? You mean, like, he just said, because he said just the word yes, I thought he was trolling. Would you just say yes and nothing else? Like, you didn't even sound like, yeah, sure, man, or yeah, when's good?
Yeah, when?
Yes. So, like, I'm thinking, this is crazy. And I put, like, because he put just yes, I was like, so I'm like a bit confused. So I DM'd him back. I'll tell you again what I said. So he put yes, and I just put a little speechless right now. Yeah, I put a little speechless right now. That's great. When would be good for you? And he literally put back, you tell me. I thought, damn, this guy is business. Do you know what I mean? This is how he works. And so I told him when it was good. I was like, look, this date's good. And he put, can you eat, like, he agreed a time with me and this and that. And he was as professional as can be. He was bang on time. He came through. We spoke for about 10 minutes before the podcast went live on Discord, and he was just asking how I am. He was saying, he hasn't forgot about sending me merch. He's trying to get it to me, but there's so many fucking issues with postage at the moment, especially international due to the virus and blah blah blah. And he hopes that I succeed in this and that. And he was just saying, he was like, you've got to remember, he's like, everyone starts somewhere. He's like, I started somewhere. He's like, I've got 1 million subs on YouTube, and just under 1 million subs on YouTube, but I sometimes only do 15, 20k views on a video. He's like, that's life. He's like, you have to keep pumping the content, you have to keep doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I just kept doing it, and ever since I'm trying to strive more and more, and that kind of feedback from him was huge. But yeah, I've got, Hex agreed, and then the moment Hex agreed, I thought to myself, do you know what? There is no limitation. What the first thing I thought was clearly not enough people are shooting their shot, because if Hex has just gone, yes, no problem, clearly not enough people are asking him. Do you get what I'm saying?
Agreed.
So then I thought to myself, right, well, who else am I asking? So I DM'd Classify, the content creator from 100 Thieves. Yeah. I thought, I don't, just because the one thing I don't want to do is limit myself to esport, because if I limit myself to Call of Duty esports,
you're very stuck.
I'll be saturated very quickly. This will saturate very, very quickly, and my podcast will go under within 6-7 months, because I've spoken to all the names that I need to speak to, and there'll be nothing left to learn. And so I didn't want it to saturate, and so I've started switching and doing content creation. So Classify's next. I sent Classify a DM, and he actually said, "Yo, brother, sounds awesome. When do you want me on?" And it's just like, clearly these people aren't being asked enough, because he agreed straight away. No banter, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I DM'd Jess Brohard. She agreed straight away. DM Lou T, he agreed straight away. And I just think I think the people I'm shooting my shot to is, I think the people that I shoot my shot to appreciate the fact I'm shooting it. Do you know what I mean? I think they appreciate it because they've been in that position.
They get the vision as well.
Yeah, they get
that's the easiest thing about it, is that they get the vision, I think. For you then.
Hold on, let me keep feeling happy, because he wants to see my hairline. There you go. McDonald's, okay. It's fucking McDonald's right there.
That is the hairline, boys. Show right first, I need you.
It's McDonald's right now, bro.
So what I want to ask you is, for you then, if there's no limitation, what's the end game for you?
And
I don't just mean the podcast, I mean you as a person as well.
Yeah, so...
Gym, everything.
Me... Oh, okay.
Like, just a you end game, a Joshua Baker.
There is none. So... The one thing I've tried to do in my life, and I've always done it through work and through everything, is that the whole point of a goal is to set a new goal. What's the point in stopping scoring? Do you get me? Like, I don't set an end goal. I just set continuous goals. If you set an end goal, it means that you're planning to stop one day. Why stop?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I need to stop anything? Like, if I can keep going and going and going, I'm going to keep going and going and going. Like with strength, I'm going to keep training.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep training no matter what. I want to keep getting stronger. If I can break British records, I'll break British records. I know I can break a bench record right now, but my shoulder's bad. The moment my shoulder's healed, I want to do it. And that's the plan. I'm going to do it. And that's just because I've told myself I'm going to do it. I think a grow plan, like, it's one thing I like, if people are genuinely serious about, like, progressing in life, progressing in their business, progressing in work, progressing in something that they want to achieve, use a grow plan. It's the best thing I could ever recommend to anyone, and it's a synonym for 4 things. Grow stands for goal, reality, options, and will. Yeah, and the way you use a grow plan is you apply it to a situation. So, for example, looking at my podcast, if I want it to grow, what's the goal? The goal is to let's say I want to average 200 viewers every episode of my podcast. What's the reality? The current reality is I might average about 90 to 100 at the moment, varying from guests. Sometimes I average more, sometimes I average less, but it depends. What are the options? The options are to gain a steadier viewer base, but how am I going to do that? So, I get more consistent viewers along the same kind of content line that people are interested in. I try and get bigger names on from different areas so that I can broaden the audience, so that I have more people tuning in from different esports and different content areas. There's stuff like that. And then you go to the will. So what will I do to grow? And then you pick. So you pick from your options. I say I will do this, and then I apply it. You apply it to anything that you're doing, and you can put a grow plan in place in anything you do in life. It works perfectly. And if 4 weeks time I look and I sit and review that grow plan and I don't see any changes, I take a step back and I look at the options again, and I pick a new option and I choose that one and I run with that option for 4 weeks and see how it changes. For me, the end goal is to have, if I was to put it in simplistic words without setting an end goal, I want to have a podcast that's successful where there's a level of sponsorship involved. I'd love to involve a sponsor. Like, I'd like to feel like I'm providing a level of content where, let's say 1,000 people a week are tuning in and enjoying what they're seeing. I want people to feel a sense of involvement, and as though they get something from the podcast, as though they're learning something that they might have not have already knew, and they're getting an insight into people's lives that they didn't already have. But yeah, overall, man, I mean, I was talking about this the other day. I still think there is a lot more a lot more areas for people to infiltrate in this scene that they're not seeing.
Yeah.
Like I told Jack this the other day, Jack Harris, like this is a business idea that I had a conversation with him. I'll put it out there because I've not got the time to do it, because otherwise I would do it, trust me. Why haven't we got an AM scene drama alert? Like, ask the question, think about it, yeah. The biggest thing on Twitter in this scene is beef. People love it, yeah. And it does numbers. Like, analytic wise, people love seeing it, right? So imagine something called what did I call it the other day? I forgot what I called it, but it was like a news segment for AMs. And let's say you put it on Twitter every 3-4 days and you review all the top AM changes, roster changes, online beef, screenshots, this, that, and you make funny segments about it. And you could even do like a segment called the memes of the week, and it's basically just a segment about Roy Beams. Do you know what I mean? And the dumb shit that Roy Beams has done this week. Like, there's so much silly stuff that you could do with it, but believe me, it would do numbers. There's so many areas of the amateur scene and Call of Duty scene that haven't been touched properly that could definitely be touched and grow quickly. Like, I know for example, look how fast Alicia grew. CDC updates page for AMs. Yeah, that grew because there was no avenue for it. There was no avenue for it, and so because she made an avenue, the people flocked to it. I've got a feeling that that's kind of the same situation with what's happening on my podcast. Is I've found an avenue, I'm getting people on, and it's growing quickly. At the same time, this whole, like I say, this news area, I mean, the only way we find out what's going on with different rosters is by reading tweets.
Yeah.
There's plenty of times in a week where people miss tweets and don't know what's going on, and speak to a team and go, oh, what's happened here? And it's like, yeah, he's gone, he's been dropped, or this has happened, or yeah, I don't speak to this person anymore. But imagine a little Twitter video or Twitch upload for like 20 minutes of every week where you just cover everything and people are laughing and you've got loads of funny segments. You have like a section where you have like, like I just said about Roy Beam, you get Roy to talk shit. Like, the Roy Beam section, and he comes on. Like, there's so many things that you could implement into something like this with different people and evolve them, and it would be very entertaining for the scene. But people just need to jump on it. People need to jump on that as an area. Because I said to Jack, like, that if I had the time, I'd do it. I'd do it straight away.
There's a lot of stuff that has been unturned, and there's a lot of things everywhere that people can do. So, guys, if you do want to do that, I mean,
trust me,
you just got thrown a free business idea, so
it'll work.
I'd recommend someone jumps on that because it's a good idea. In terms of you and streaming then as well, so aside of the bakery, obviously you are a streamer as well. You've been streaming a lot of Warzone this week, as I've seen.
Yeah.
Just broke 100 subs, I believe.
150.
Man. Congratulations on that.
Thanks,
so streaming as well for you, what's that? Just you in general, just you having fun? Is that something that you want to pursue in a serious sense, or just like,
I'd love to. The thing is with streaming is I'd love to pursue it on a realistic schedule, but I can't due to my current work. If I could stream 4 or 5 hours a day and fit that in with my life, believe me, I would do it and I would pursue it heavy. But I just don't have the time at the moment in my current job. Like, for the next week, I'll be streaming every day just because I'm off work. But when I'm back at work, it'll be back to 2 or 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week, and that's alongside the podcast. And it's kind of hard to maintain it. But when I can stream, I'll stream as much as I can, and I really enjoy streaming. Being able to just share gaming. Look, the best thing about gaming is doing it with your friends. That's the best thing. Gaming on your own is fun if the game's enjoyable enough. But the majority of gaming is fun because it's done with a friend or with other people. And so being able to do it with a community on a stream, and for them to witness the same gaming moments that you are, it's more enjoyable. And to build your own community, it's like, it's so stupid. All my subs are called the Steak Bakes. And like, they all get a little steak next to their name when they sub, and my sub badges are Kevin and Perry. Do you know what I mean? Like my sub badges are Kevin Perry, the guy with a strong hand from Scary Movie 2, and Shorty. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got, it's just simple, it's stupid stuff that I've got that I like to mess around with, but it all works really well for me. And I don't know, it's just the community's growing. I think I don't know what to say in terms of why I'm growing the way I am. I don't know, because all I'm doing is the wave, if you know what I mean. I'm just going with the flow. I'm letting whatever happens happen. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, it works. But like, the amount of support I've been showing in the last few days in my stream is ridiculous. Like, I'll even shout some people out. Like, Natalie has gifted like 23 subs. AJ's gifted me like 19. Finn over time has gifted me like almost 20. I've had like Jack come in and gift me. Rortsa, double tap. Like everyone's just been in there gifting subs. So Joey, like just so many people coming through, gifting, looking after me. Do you know what I mean? And people want to be involved and support me, and that's one thing I appreciate more than anything, is the fact that I'm doing this because I'm enjoying it. It's a passion I've got, and then people are supporting it on top of that, which makes it even better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously before this, when this wave was taken off, you was under TSU. Do you find it easier that you're solo?
Oh, this is an interesting question. So, TSU is probably one of the best, I'd say, like, outside of the top amorgs, because there is definitely levels to it. Do you know what I mean? Like if you look at SNG are the top of the AM area, and that's if you could even declare them as AM, because I would say they're a professional org to me now. They've got professional teams in multiple areas of esports, and so to me they're a pro org. Whether we don't class them as pro in Call of Duty yet, to me they're a professional org elsewhere. But let's look at like Team War, for example, and areas like that. Like they're above the kind of standard organisation that you'd look at. TSU for me are like top tier, low end AM org. Do you know what I mean? Like if I was to talk about like a high grade team that's competing in the EG League, for example, I would expect them to be on the TSU esports. Do you know what I mean? Because TSU they're a good org. They look after their people. They look after their players. They really try and cover and fund as many things as they can. I mean, God knows, mate, when I joined them, they funded multiple giveaways. They looked after me on my birthday. They looked after me for FIFA points. They looked after me for all sorts. So if that doesn't say enough, do you know what I mean? They're willing to invest in their people and they care. But I was getting to a point where I was seeing a high growth, and I have to. It's almost a selfish world. I don't want it to be, but I have to consider my growth elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? And how much I have to look at how much I'm gaining from the org and how much the org is gaining from me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't. Ultimately, you don't want one to start outweighing the other, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was beginning to happen, so I went solo. Don't get me wrong. I've had in excess of probably 30 orgs get in contact with me ever since the podcast has started popping. But that's one thing that bothers me the most is you're only interested now that it's popping. Do you know what I mean? So you're only interested now that you can get a bite from it, and that's why a lot of them have been ignored. However, there will be an announcement tomorrow morning of where I'm headed. I can't say anything more. I think it's tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, but there's an announcement where I'm going. I will be under a new organisation starting from tomorrow. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm really trust. I've knew this news for like a week.
Yeah.
Joey, I can tell you now, it's not obtained, Chief. But yeah, I mean, I've knew the news for a week. I've really been out there. It's not my job to announce it. There's different ties within that organisation that mean they can only say when they're ready to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be tomorrow. So yeah, just look out for that, guys. No, it's not War either, Jay, mate. Not War either. Ghost just said it's SNG. I'm not saying anything.
Everyone's just gonna guess, so he ain't gonna reply to none no more. So stop the guessing.
I can't. You know what? Interestingly, Bruiser, who's just said I know who it is. He actually does know who it is, and I don't know how. I don't know how he knows. I asked him the other day. He DM'd me and was like, "I know where you're going." And I was like, "What?" And he told me, and I was like, "How the fuck would you know that? Like, how would you know that?" But yeah, he actually knows. But yeah, it'll be announced tomorrow, man. I'm excited to get it popping, and I'm really excited to be a part of them. I think I'm going to see substantial growth, and I also think that my platform will help growth over there. Ghost, mate, I really respect that comment. I know we've not really spoken since I've left TSU, and to be honest, I thought you were a bit upset about it, but I'm glad you've just written that in the chat, man. I was happy to be with you, mate. It was great to meet you in London, and I'm sure we will be meeting again in the future, Chief. I'm sure we will.
Awesome. Guys, we will be wrapping this up soon, so make sure you are putting your questions in the chat now that we'll be asking Josh, if you do have any for him. As I said earlier, keep it related, otherwise I'm just going to skip past them. But yeah, so for you, in the day of a life, what is it like for you?
Oh, geez. On a work day, so my day starts different to everyone else's because my day starts at like 7 p.m, rather than 7 a.m.
Night shift.
So I wake up 7 p.m, eat, chill with my kids for a couple of hours, chill the missus, go to work about 9, half 9, work till about 8 o'clock in the morning, get home, eat real quick when I get home, then go straight to the gym. This is before, obviously, the fucking Rona came. But yeah, go to the gym. I'm so mad. Go to the gym, spend about 2.5 hours in the gym, get home about 11:30. I eat again, chill the missus for about an hour, go to bed about 1, and then that's it. Repeat. Do you know what I mean? Get back up about 7. And that is it. Literally repeat, rinse, repeat. That's on my work days. If I'm doing a podcast on a work day, then it switches. I get up about 5, chill with the kids and missus for a couple of hours, then do the podcast at 7 till 9. Then I go to work and run the same cycle. But my days off, mate, my days off are blessed because I don't have there's no schedule to a day off of mine, mate.
Yeah.
I sleep till like 4 o'clock, get up, chill, and just enjoy myself. And like this week, for example, not being at work, it's just going to be me chilling and enjoying myself as much as I can, honestly. And keeping the stream up. As I said earlier, like we've hit 150 fakes. And I'm aiming for 200 before the end of the month, mate. 6 days. I believe it. I believe I can do it. So I want to hit 200 before the end of the month. And if I do, I'm going to open a bakery and start selling everyone because everyone's a steak bake. Do you know what I mean? I might as well open one. I'm going to open a bakery and start selling. But yeah, that's a day in the life. Not too interesting, really. Do you know what I mean? My youngest son is a brute. He looks like a rugby player. He's only 4 years old. And he's a monster. And then my oldest son is like the biggest gamer you've ever seen in your life. He's like 7, and he'll spin 90s on anyone that plays Fortnite. Believe me. So,
love that, man. I love that. I want to ask, are you religious?
Nah, mate, no, not at all.
No. You've got
what makes you think?
You've got a very different mindset to people I've not even on a podcast, to people I've spoken to. You've got a very, very good and open mindset, and it's something that's missing in this scene as well. And there's not a lot of people that have a mindset of believing and shooting your shot and doing what you do. Do you know what I mean? Like,
bro, do you know how many times I've been turned down? Like, this is the thing. What people aren't getting. People think I've DM'd so many people on Twitter and been told no. So many. Like, people aren't clocking that.
Yep.
Like, I DM'd Momo, got told no. DM'd Miles, got ignored. DM'd multiple casters, got ignored. DM'd a couple of different pro players, been ignored. DM'd a few different like pros from obviously esports, I've been told no or got ignored. But I'll roll with the punches. If I stopped doing everything in my life when I got told no, I would be doing nothing. Do you get what I'm saying? I would have nothing to my name because you have to roll with the punches. Oh, you've lost me.
Yeah, the camera.
Lost me on cam. No, it's all right. Want me to reload it?
Yeah, we'll restart the call quickly. One sec, guys. Apologies for this. All right, guys, we're back. Thank you for the patience. As we said earlier, just starting. If you didn't tune in earlier, there's going to be a lot of issues with Discord and stuff, etc., due to the fact that there's a lot of people on. Well, everybody's on lockdown, and there's a lot of people using the internet, so it's going to be an issue. But as you was saying, obviously you have been told no a lot.
Yeah, I was saying I've been told no. Like, the amount of times I've been told no prior to anything, so many times, and I could sit here and go, oh, well, I've been told no, so I might as well not carry on. If that's your mentality, you're never going to get anywhere. You have to roll with punches. Okay, that's how you build yourself up. That's how you don't take, like. One thing, my biggest weakness for years has been replying to people on Twitter, letting people bait me and get angry, and then I'll go mad on Twitter and I look like a child. Yeah. But I'm 25 years old and I'm arguing with kids that have got noses like Squidward. Do you know what I mean? That are chatting about my son, like my kids.
Yeah.
Like, bro, if you were in front of me, I would fold you up like a deck chair. Do you know what I mean? Like, comfortably. But I don't waste my time on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have to. I think one thing I'm trying to do daily now is reflect on anything. So, like, I look at myself in the day, I think about what I've done for the day, and I reflect on moments. I'm like, could I have done something different there? Have I done the right thing there? Blah, blah, blah. And I learn, like, I'm trying to learn from my life experiences every day. But, like, it's like I said earlier, like, the biggest learning curve for me at the moment is the podcast because it's moving so quickly and I'm trying to soak it all in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm really trying to soak it all in. Like, I've had Scraps, Magcat, Hex, and now about to be classified. Like, I'm having 100 fees. Remember, I'm like, this is probably the most exciting organisation in the world right now. Do you know what I mean?
Agreed.
And like now I'm having Yvonne. So yeah, in terms of mindset, like then the way I am, like the biggest thing that changed me and my attitude, like, was having my son, like having my first son.
Yeah.
Like when my first son was born, like my whole outlook on life changed, and like the way I am. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not telling people to go and have kids. Like, don't go and knock your missus up and have a kid. What I'm saying is, like, just try and be more responsible with your life. Just feel like, don't let people tell you no. anything you can do if you put your mind to it, and that's like it's cliche, but it's true. Like the other week, I remember when I don't know if it was it might have been last week when you had Caramel Gamer on,
Yeah.
and like Radigan put a tweet on there, and he said something like,
Yeah.
"You know why you're doing this?" Like blah blah blah. Like what a negative mindset to have. What an awful mind. Like you believe that because someone else is in a lane and doing it well, nobody else can swerve in. What a bizarre idea. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why would you think like that? Like, if I thought like that, then I would never have started a podcast because Joe Rogan's got one. Do you know what I mean? Nobody else would have a podcast because Joe Rogan's got one. It's such a bizarre way to think. The whole point of content and things like that is it's there to be shared and absorbed. There's more people watching content than there is absorbing it. Remember that. So why not be one of the people that makes it to be absorbed? Do you know what I mean?
Agreed. Okay. As far as just read something in the chat, I thought the camera's going off.
No,
yeah, completely agree. As I said earlier, your mindset, it's very different and eye-opening to anybody that I have had on the podcast, and that the way you are that I've spoken to off a podcast as well. So commiserations. I congratulate you for that, because there's not a lot of people in our scene that have that. So it's fantastic to see personally. And as I said earlier,
I'm grateful, man.
Yeah, 100%. As I said earlier, you're doing well, and no signs of stopping. 150 subs, podcast going well, and of course you just broke 700 followers as well.
Yeah, 700 on Twitter, and then we broke 1,000 on Twitch. I think we're like 1,050 already. It's moving quick, man. Everything's just moving fast. I think like, are you just about to finish now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one thing I would say, like before I go, like.
Wow, that's my last question for you. The new way I end these podcasts is from you and yourself as a person and what you do. Give a piece of advice out to the world.
Don't be average. Don't ever be average. Like, why would you settle for being average and being like everyone else when you could just shine? Like, literally, imagine, every single one of you is a dimly lit star, and you hold the control to the brightness, and you're choosing to sit there at 20%. Fuck that. Like, why do it? Do you know what I mean? Like, and it looks like me in the gym. Like, I've got a mentality in my head where I literally lie down on the bench, and the gym can have 100 people in. Believe me, I'm going to scream "fuck being average" before I rep. I do. I fucking scream it. Fuck being average. Like, fuck that idea. Do you know what I mean? And just do everything in your life at 110%. Do not be average. If you strive to be average and you strive to live a comfortable life, you will always be average. You will never, ever be above average. Everything that you do will always be an average output. Put more in, you get more out. It's as simple as that. Like with me, with Jim, I'm telling you now, people go to me, how many sets of chest do you do? Oh, I do 12, I do 10, I do 30. I do 30 sets of flat bench press every time I do chest. Do you know why? Because now I can bench press 250 kilo because I put the work in. That's the point. And it's the same with everything. Why am I trying to pump out podcasts? Why am I trying to do this and that? Because fuck being average. That's why I shoot my shot, because fuck being average. That's why I'm shooting my shot at Hex. That's why I'm shooting my shot here and there, because I don't want to be average. I want to be different. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So the best piece of advice I can ever give everyone is, do you want to be cut from the same cloth? Do you want to be cotton just like everyone else? Or do you want to be some smooth as fuck silk? Do you know what I mean? What do you want to be? You pick. That's it. That's the best advice I can give anyone.
Awesome, man. As you said, guys, you pick. Fantastic. Of course, Josh, thank you for coming on, man, and taking the time out.
No problem, bro.
Talking about, your life and the life of amateur and what it is you're doing. And as I said earlier, carry on riding the wave, man. You're doing fantastic, and it's going to be awesome to see.
Yeah, bro, you too, man. You too, honestly. This is good.
Appreciate it, bro. It's going to be interesting to see who you pull out next and what comes next with you. And of course, if you didn't hear earlier, guys, he does have an announcement tomorrow for where he's heading next. He has a new home, even though he's not moving out of his one right now because of Rona. But make sure you follow Josh. Of course, you can see his Twitter underneath his camera, Big Boy Bake. And of course, as always, make sure you do follow me on Twitter as well, underneath my camera, Connor_Mez. But for this episode, guys, we're going to close it off here. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. And of course, as always, if you are looking to wonder more about EG and what it is they do, make sure you scroll down below to the panels. And, you have Twitter, you have Instagram, you have all the good stuff there. And if you haven't already kept up to date, tomorrow we'll be back at 7 p.m. it will be Buffers and Pro Reborn from across the pond to bring you another Call of Duty match, Semi-Pro League match number 6, and I believe it is one of the last ones coming up. We have 2 more coming up, so this will be one of the last ones. So make sure you tune back in here tomorrow for 7 p.m. for some Call of Duty actions. But for us tonight, from me and Josh, it's going to be a good night.
Yeah, adios guys.